healing grow.
Okay. This is case number 23 PO 6723. This is Matthew Levy versus Amanda Doland. The petition was filed on July 25th, 2023, and an ex parte order was issued on August 2nd, 2023. The respondent, Ms. Doland, was served on August 8th, 2023. It's now 10:27. The respondent is still not here, and we will proceed in her absence because she was served and given opportunity to be present and heard. Mr. Levy, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true and correct under penalty of perjury?
I do.
Okay, you can put your hand down. All right, how do you know Miss Dolan?
Ms. Doland is currently married to my daughter, Samantha Levy.
All right, how old's your daughter?
My daughter is 24. 23.
Okay, and Miss Dolan is how old?
I believe 26.
All right, and how long have you known her?
Approximately 18 months.
Okay, do you know if she's incarcerated at this time?
No, Your Honor, she made bond very quickly. She was originally charged as a misdemeanor.
Okay. So as far as you know, she is not incarcerated.
That is correct.
Okay. And was she living with you before this was served?
Before it was served, yes, Your Honor. Her and my daughter lived in my basement.
Does your daughter still live in the basement?
She does.
Okay. So why did you initially file the petition for a protective order, Mr. Levy?
In the morning of July 9th, as Ms. Dolan was packing her belongings to leave because of a separation with my daughter, and my daughter and wife were out of state visiting my youngest daughter, Ms. Dolan struck me with her vehicle from behind and drove me 14 feet into a chain link fence, drove me through the fence, and I ended up approximately 50 feet from where the car started. And I was pretty severely injured.
All right, so you all lived in the same home?
Well, yes, she had been dispossessed and was in the process of leaving. I had actually gone outside through our side entry garage as she had turned on the car to leave, to just ask her if I could get the house key, thinking that seemed a reasonable thing to do. And she removed the house key from her chain and tossed it in front of the car, and it just never crossed my mind. So I went to get it when she struck me.
Okay. But you all did live in the same house?
Yes, previously to that point, yes.
Okay, and how long did y'all live together?
Probably something along the lines of 16 months.
Okay. Okay, so when you bent down to get the key, that's when you were struck by the vehicle?
Never made it to the key. I walked in front of the car. I had to go through a fence. She threw it through the chain link fence, which was 18 feet away from the car. And at some point between the fence to the backyard, she struck me.
So she went through the chain link fence?
Yes, by a great distance, and then proceeded to make several rounds in my backyard as she attempted to flee. She ended up getting stuck in the mud, and then she actually took the time to get wooden planks to put under the tires to free herself from the mud. And at some point, the police arrived. I did call 911 approximately 5 minutes prior to the incident. I'm sorry, approximately 10 minutes prior to the incident. And my understanding is several minutes afterwards, she too called 911.
Why did you call 911 before the incident?
So the incident originally escalated because Ms. Dolan and my daughter had 5 cats in the basement. And as they were separating, they agreed on a division that my daughter would keep 3 cats and Ms. Dolan would take 2 cats. And as Ms. Dolan was packing her car, I went down to the basement just see how she was doing. I was even offered to help her with heavy items, and I found 4 cats stuffed into 3 carriers. And as it turned out, she had threatened my daughter the day previously to take all the cats and then dump them in Florida. She was driving to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So I simply removed 2 of the 4 cats that were in the carriers, the ones that my daughter wanted, and brought them upstairs. And then I had no confrontation with Miss Dolan at that time. She was outside using the back to go around, and I went down through the stairs. So I went back into the kitchen, and presumably Ms. Dolan discovered what I did and came up to the kitchen and just started screaming and becoming very aggressive. And I called 911 immediately, asking for an officer to escort her off the property before it escalated.
Okay. Okay, and after you were struck by the vehicle, did she render any aid or anything like that? Did she come over to you to see how you were?
No, Your Honor. In fact, there is a audio of a dashboard cam because it was removed at some time prior to the incident and placed either on the center console or in the center console. And after I was struck, which by the way I heard, she re-revved the engine. I, on the ground after falling off of the hood, immediately thought she was going to finish the job. And with a fractured back, I actually got up and ran to go over my neighbor's fence. And I made it all the way to their deck before I collapsed. But at no time did she come over to check on me or render aid. When I went over the fence, you're facing forward and then you jump over and you're sort of facing back. By the time I jumped over the fence, she was already going around the backyard.
Okay. And she was arrested on the scene?
She was.
Okay. And what do you know? You said it was for a misdemeanor?
She was charged with reckless conduct. She told the police it was an accident. And that was that. And I've been for the last 6 weeks doing literally everything I can to get it upcharged to aggravated battery.
You've been in contact with the prosecutor's office?
I started with the Dunwoody Police Department, who wrote the report, moved up to a detective, had a meeting with the chief of police, who sent, I wrote my own crime scene report because nobody else did. So
have you contacted the prosecutor's office? I don't need to hear about every step.
Ma'am, yes, I have. I have a message in with attorney in the solicitor's office, Montero Jones.
Okay. All right. Has Miss Dolan ever been violent with you in the past?
With me, no. With my daughter, yes.
Okay. And have you heard from her since?
Yes, there was constant contact. So I've only gotten one text message from her. My daughter has received approximately half a dozen to a dozen, but it all stopped once we got the TPO.
Oh, did your daughter get a TPO as well?
No, but her name is on my TPO, and I simply don't think that Ms. Dolan is sophisticated enough to understand the implications. So she just stopped.
Okay. And she texted you once, you said?
Yes.
And what was the content of that text?
She had been harassing my daughter about alleged theft of something or another. And I received a text asking why I didn't stop my daughter from something or another.
Okay. And Mr. Levy, why do you believe a protective order is necessary against Ms. Dolan for the next 12 months for you?
Ms. Dolan stated via text mails to my daughter that she was intending to take her own life. And a lot of the text mails were very violent and threatening. And these were all sent on July 8th, even though the incident was July 9th. I wasn't aware of them at the time. But I believe very sincerely that Ms. Dolan, if given the opportunity, will attempt to harm myself or my family, and then potentially take her own life, as she threatened. Especially as divorce proceedings begin, because that will stress her and she will lash out.
All right. I am going to issue an order. I'm going to find that there is a, just one second. Miss Goodman, we do have personal service here, correct?
For this case,
She was, because she looks like she was served in Florida. I guess that's where she's residing now, Mr.
That is her mother's home, and to the best of my knowledge, she is still residing there.
Right, and this happened in DeKalb County, and she is residing out of state now. Is jurisdiction.
Looked like she was served on the August.
Well, it was signed on the 8th.
Yeah.
Is that one of our officers, or is that someone?
that's one of our officers, I believe. Do you want me to call the sheriff's department to?
I don't, I'm a little confused about this service.
Broward County Service.
My understanding is she was served by Broward County, Florida.
Okay, let me, we're gonna pause this and I'll bring you back, okay? I want to make sure we've got this,
Sure.
okay? Make sure I understand the notice correctly. Okay, so when you bent down to get the key, that's when you were struck by the vehicle?
Never made it to the key. I walked in front of the car. I had to go through a fence. She threw it through the chain link fence, which was 18 feet away.
Will you hand me my screen lock?
I can't get no sleep, please make my life more simple. Miles inside these shoes, so I don't stop my tiptoe. Fell 1,000 times, still
Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Ma'am? Ma'am? Can you hear it?
No.
Okay.
I have no patience for that. And trust me, out of the day, I'm sitting up here, I'm the one that needs a drink.